What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Topic Countdown. If this is your first time watching the show, then welcome to the channel, welcome to the show. And if it is your reoccurring time watching the show, I guess, then hey, thank you for coming back. Before we get started, just a little bit of a side note, Topic Countdown is going to be in this more condensed version of the show. The reason being is because I really enjoyed doing the edited version that I did with the Smash episode, as well as just conflicting schedules that I was having with my co-host Falcon95, aka Josh. However, the elongated podcast version of the show is not dead, which is great. That show is now going to be condensed into another version called One-on-One with Falcon95, and essentially what that's going to be is the more elongated version of the show about topics that we both are very passionate about. So it gives me kind of the best of both worlds. I still get to do Topic Countdown, a show that I love and enjoy based off of things that I like, and One-on-One with Falcon95, keeping that same elongated format off of topics that we both are very passionate about together. So without further ado, today's episode is going to be based off of the what's the word of the game? I can't think of it. Today's episode is in light of Shinobi Strikers that is coming out today as of this recording, which is August 30th. So by the time this comes out tomorrow, the game will already have been out essentially for a day. I have played the demo myself. It was a lot of fun. It's pretty much Xenoverse for the Naruto world. You get to create your own ninja, what type of ninja you want to be, fighting in they're like 4-on-4 battles with other people, like flag battles, combat battles. It's a really fun game. It's a little something to get used to, but it's a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. So anyway, today's show is going to be about the top 10 Naruto influences. Essentially what that means is that I didn't want to do a cheap cop-out of top 10 Naruto characters or Naruto characters like this. I wanted to do characters that I felt like really influenced Naruto, the character himself, throughout the series from the beginning of Naruto all the way up until Boruto, with him being adult, already being the Hokage. Also, if you haven't seen Naruto Shippuden or Boruto, they're three very long series, I know. Just be alarmed, there is going to be spoilers in this show. So if you still want to watch, please continue. If not, then finish all three of those series and then come back. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the top 10 Naruto influences. So at number 10, I have Lady Tsunade. Lady Tsunade, it was the fourth Hokage. God, it's been such a long time. The fourth Hokage, I believe it was. And the reason I have Tsunade at 10 is because I feel like she was the kind of mother figure to Naruto. She was the person to come in and really put him in his place, you know, giving him that discipline and that way of being a ninja that the third Hokage didn't really give him so much. I mean, the third Hokage really gave him the teachings of being a ninja, essentially, but really didn't solidify that discipline as much as Tsunade does. Especially with Tsunade fighting with the other Kage in the battle with Madara, really demonstrates the power that she has, as well as who she is as a ninja, in addition to being part of the three legendary Sannin. She was always that kind of mother figure from the shadows, that guardian that always watched over him, essentially, coming into the Leaf Village and really just trying to fix it from what she had to work with, and I feel like she did a great job with it. But at number 10, we have Lady Tsunade. So at number 9, speaking of teachers, we have Kakashi Sensei. Now I know some people might put Kakashi higher on the list, but I feel like there are other picks that I have on here that kind of influenced Naruto more as a character, as well as took more influence from him as well. The reason I have Kakashi at 9 is because, I mean, it was his teacher. I feel like Kakashi really influenced Naruto in that he showed him what it was like to be a ninja, you know, what the essence of being a ninja is and was. And in addition to that, he really taught Naruto what it means to have great teamwork with your two other teammates, in addition to the other teams that the other senseis were running as well. And he really taught Naruto the essence of, you know, combat and, you know, working together and the importance of teamwork, and just as well as honing in your own skills and trying to master those, in addition to, you know, being true to yourself and, you know, really having respect and loyalty for your village. And I also feel like, you know, he's just a really good person that kind of put Naruto in his place, essentially, at one time or another. So I feel like Kakashi at number 9 is a wonderful pick. In addition, into Shippuden, as well as teaching him I can't think of the words today, I'm so sorry. Making the Rasengan, essentially making the Rasengan his own, and really teaching him how to hone in on his Rasengan, making it Rasen Shuriken, I believe, and just aiding him in teaching him that, as well as being a wonderful teammate into the Battle of Madara, as well as into becoming the Hokage, and essentially telling him, yes, I am the Hokage, but I'm just kind of a seat warmer for you, essentially. Don't get me wrong, Kakashi wasn't just a seat warmer Hokage. He's my favorite character in the series, but he's pretty much a seat warmer to Naruto. Anyway, at number 9, I have Kakashi. On number 8, speaking of teachers, I have Killer Bee. Now, I know Killer Bee wasn't in Naruto, wasn't very prominent throughout the series, but in Shippuden he is. I felt like Killer Bee was deserving of the number 8 spot because he was the person to really teach Naruto to solidify the tailed beast that was inside of him. Not only that, he also taught Naruto the kind of discipline and leadership he needs to have, as well as the hope that he needs to keep when dealing with the tailed beast, because it's something that nobody else understands. And I feel like it was just wonderful to see someone who is so old, or older, I should say, who's already been in Naruto's shoes, who's been throughout that process, and to really teach him and tell him, like, hey, I've been where you are, and let me teach you what I know. And not only that, he's just a really fun character, and always really uplifting, but very serious when he needs to be, especially during the training, when they're on the island and the Akatsuki come, as well as all the way throughout Boruto. Even though he hasn't been in it much, you still see him prominent throughout time, and being there, and just always being that teacher that helped Naruto solidify Kurama inside of him and helped him master it and really work hand in hand with the tailed beast rather than them working against each other. So that's why I have Killer Bee at number 8. At number 7, going from teacher to student as well as teammate, I have Neji. Now, I know some people might put Neji higher on this list, but the reason I have Neji at 7 is because he's always been a huge influence on Naruto, I feel like, but more in the back, if that makes sense. During the Chunin exams in Naruto, he was a huge influence on him, with the whole, destiny is always solidified, and, you can't beat me because I'm stronger than you, essentially, and blah, blah, blah. Only pushed Naruto further on to let him beat Neji, which he did, and really taught Naruto, the inner strength that he has inside of him. In addition to that, Naruto also took influence from Neji as well, and only improving himself, further and further. And together they both influence each other well into Shippuden. And spoiler alert, like I said, when Neji sacrifices himself for Naruto, it really shows how much influence not only Naruto has given him, but how much influence he has given Naruto as well. And plus, not only that, dying for Naruto shows the loyalty that he had for him, as well as knowing what a great ninja Naruto is. And plus, just sacrificing himself for his village, as well as saving Hinata, and knowing Hinata's feelings for Naruto, only shows how much Neji has always been there, always watching, always learning from him, and always taking those teachings to himself and only pushing himself further. But in addition to that, seeing Neji push himself farther and watching Neji grow also influenced Naruto to keep on growing as well. So I feel like at one point of being the quote-unquote villain into teammate, which is a wonderful growth to see from Neji, really influenced Naruto. I thought the series would push him on further. Speaking of which, at number 6, speaking of quote-unquote villain and rival into friend, we have Gaara at the number 6 spot. The reason I have Gaara at number 6 is because I feel like he's very similar to Neji in a way where Gaara was a very strong, evil-ish type figure, but eventually broken down by Naruto into being a really, really true and great friend. And not only that, Gaara was that mirror image to Naruto of seeing what, the route of going bad versus the route of going good, what it could have been for Naruto himself. And he, with the teachings of Naruto into Gaara, it helped Gaara develop and break that mold of who he was into the person eventually he will become. And not only that, Gaara also influenced Naruto in a huge way of really understanding that, hey, I haven't been the only one to go through this. Here's somebody from the Sand Village that essentially has gone through the same thing that I have. He just took a different route. And, hopefully my influence can help save him and really mold him into a different person, which eventually does happen. And not only that, well into Shippuden, we see Gaara being, another Kage and being that trusted friend that Naruto can have in another village, really, solidifying that friendship between the two, as well as that little rivalry that they have in Boruto during their sons in the Chunin exams. But, being amongst the 5 Kage, it really gives both of them kind of that solidification that this is a rival that I once had, but is now a really great friend. And, in addition to that, in Shippuden, when Gaara gets in trouble with the Akatsuki, who goes to save him? Naruto. So I feel like they both influence each other hand in hand, and that's why I have him at number 6. At number 5, I have Hinata, going back to the Hyuga clan as well as the future wife of Naruto. Hinata's really solidified herself in not only being a person that's taking a lot of influence from Naruto, but also someone who's dished it out in really big moments. And what I mean by that is she's always been that person in the back, waiting, watching, reserved, being very quiet, but learning from Naruto as well as her other teammates of what it means to be a ninja and really stepping out of your shell and being yourself. And eventually, when she finally tells Naruto her true feelings, you really see that come to prominence as well, with Naruto himself. In addition to that, I feel like, during the times of need, especially with the Battle of Pain or when the Chunin exams stadium blew up in Boruto, she was the one to step in and go guard or protect Naruto in those moments of hardship and emergency. And even though she knew she can't beat, these foes, especially if Naruto was beaten down, what chance do I have? That wasn't running through her mind. It was just protect him at all costs because of the feelings that she had for him, as well as that drive that he instilled within her as well. So I feel like that Hinata at 5 really showing those influences from him, but also repercussing that back onto Naruto is something that we see throughout the whole series, in addition to when they become married. So I have Hinata at number 5. At number 4, speaking of family, I have Minato. Minato, Minito, whatever you call him, I don't care. Naruto's dad, essentially. I have Minato at number 4 because I feel like he was such an influence on Naruto and more of that character that gave Naruto influence rather than Naruto giving him influence back. Those father and son moments that they have together is something Naruto has always wanted and something that us as fans have always wanted to see. In addition to that, he's kind of the one that started it all, essentially. He gave Naruto half of the Telepy's power and stealing the other half inside of himself. And those moments when they share battles together, when they fight together, when he gives those uplifting speeches to Naruto about what it means to become a ninja, as well as, him as a son and what he thinks of him as a son, is really something that just softens Naruto's heart more and just gives him that solidification of the wonderful ninja he is becoming. Having that dynamic between the two, especially in the Battle of Madara when he shows up and, really fights alongside of Naruto and the other ninja, is something that is a wonderful sight to see. And I loved their dynamic together, especially the teachings that he instills into Naruto during those battles and those moments, not only as a father but then as a teammate, is something that is great, and I just completely loved each and every second of it. So on to number 3, back to teachers, speaking of which is also Minato's teacher. We have Jiraiya. Jiraiya at number 3, I know some people might put him higher, but I feel like he has always been the one, that was the father figure for Naruto when there wasn't one. I know we have Iruka as a brother figure, but Jiraiya has always kind of been that guardian father figure that Naruto had and needed. He's the one that taught him everything, essentially, into Shippuden and onto Boruto. He's the one that taught him the Rasengan and piggybacking off of Kakashi and other ninjas of what it means to be a ninja and the importance of it, as well as fighting tougher foes and how to overcome that, and really molding him into the man that he is today, and helping him grow up from a kid into a teenager, eventually into an adult, and really just solidifying the teachings of Jiraiya as well as the teachings of other people that have come before him into Naruto, and spreading that influence of Minato and other great ninja into him is something that I think is wonderful. And plus, just having him in his really just robust personality and charisma only adds more onto Naruto, and just showing what kind of person he is, and just helps him grow more and more. So I feel like that's why I have Jiraiya at 3. At number 2, now moving on from teachers onto teammates, I have Sasuke. Now, I know Sasuke is an evil bastard and he's a real bad guy and does real bad things, but he's best friends first with Naruto, and enemies second, especially into Boruto, and further on into Shippuden. You have your Goku and your Vegeta in Dragon Ball, but here you have your Naruto and your Sasuke. And Sasuke has always pushed Naruto further, always pushing the envelope on what more can Naruto do? How much more can he grow? How much more can he develop into a better ninja? And always trying to keep up with each other again and again and again, always trying to outdo one another. I mean, up until they literally blow each other's arms off. Like, it's just insane. And, just mastering their power that they have together, I think is something wonderful. And like I said, even though Sasuke does some really, really outrageous things, like the betrayal and the murders, Naruto never gives up on him and always tries to go after him again and again. And eventually when they reunite and you see that dynamic between each other, from when they were young up until now, when they're adults, fighting alongside each other, having the same power levels, still trying to outdo each other, is something that is such a sight to see. And into Boruto, when now, they're best friends and they're, each other's man they can count on, into that fight that they just had a couple episodes back, fighting alongside each other, you can only see the progression that they've had, as well as the deep friendship and the deep bond that they share with each other. And I think that Sasuke being a teammate influence onto Naruto throughout the whole series is something that has just been really solidified again and again, and is something that will continue to be solidified throughout the entire time. And at number 1, like I said, going back to teachers, I have Iruka Sensei. Now I know some people are probably like boo, and others are like, yes, this should be number 1. Iruka Sensei is number 1 because, he's number 1. He's always been there since the beginning. He's the guy that's literally laid down on the line for Naruto again and again and again, especially at the beginning of the series when, he goes to protect Naruto and sacrifices himself for him, protecting him. Naruto, turns around and does it for him, in the same fashion. And not only that, not just as a ninja, but as a person, Iruka instills so many values onto him, being that big brother figure that Naruto really needs. Not having any family or parents to turn to, Iruka has always been that guardian for him, well up into Shippuden. Even though he's not prominent in a lot of episodes, when he does show up, they're always wonderful, sweet moments, and they share the feelings of being proud of one another and seeing how much they progress throughout time, as well into Boruto when he's now become the principal of the school, and still has that relationship with Naruto. Even though he's the Hokage, he's still that big brother to him, and he's always been his guardian since the beginning, watching over him. Even though he's been the one ninja that's just been the regular guy, and hasn't really done much, he's shared the most influence onto the main character, instilling in him the normal values of being a person, as well as the values of being a ninja and what it means to serve the Leaf Village. So at number 1, I have Iruka Sensei. Some honorable mentions I also had here on the list that I had to leave off, and it pains me to leave them off, but I had 4 honorable mentions. I had Pain, just because we see that dynamic in that battle with Naruto and Pain, like I said, when Hinata steps in as well, really bringing out that sage art, as well as how strong Naruto has become in that battle. At number 12, I had Kurama, just because Kurama's been there with Naruto since the beginning, and we see their relationship develop again and again and again, from hating each other onto becoming really close and sharing that same power. 13, I would have had the third Hokage, again, kind of like that teacher, like similar to Jiraiya, and Iruka as well, always watching over him, making sure he's okay, and really just kind of looming over Naruto to make sure that he didn't cause too much trouble throughout the village. And my last honorable mention would have been Shikamaru, being kind of the, I don't want to say secondary best friend, but a very, very close friend, like Sasuke is, where he's always taken more influence from Naruto rather than gave to him, to where now Shikamaru is pretty much his right-hand man as the Hokage, and seeing the development from him based off of the influence he's taken from Naruto into the leader he is now is something that is wonderful. But alright guys, that is the topic for this week, and that is my list. Thank you so much for watching or listening. I hope you really enjoyed today's list. What picks oh my god, what picks would have you guys put on your list? Would you have taken any off of mine? Would you have put any more on? Did you like the spots that I put them in? If not, where would you have shifted them? Please tell me down in the comments below, as well as if you have any other ideas for any other topic countdowns I will do. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. I'll see you next week with another topic countdown, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.